All on you, Tiff. You're live.
Okay, thank you. Malachi, when this printer go off the printer, go get it for me. Good day, everybody, saints and sinners, brothers and sisters, and uh, parents, children, parents, and families who all will watch this video. My name is Prophetess Tiffany Pando. I'm a civil rights activist and advocate. I run a nonprofit organization and a for-profit business that stand up for the rights of children, parents, and families dealing with CPS or the justice system. We're going to be talking about what to do when you encounter the police, or i.e., CPS. They are state agents, state actors, bad actors of government, and they fall under the Fourth and Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. And so we're going to be uh, delving into what to do and what not to do if you encounter these entities of governments, these bad actors. Okay, so um, if you encounter CPS or the police, usually these two entities, these state agents and bad actors, they usually work together, and they both fall under the Fourth and Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. And you need to know what to do and what not to do if you encounter CPS or the police. One of the things you need to do is to remain silent. That is one of your Miranda rights. A lot of people keep doing this, but all it do is get you in more trouble. So your First Amendment right, it says you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will you be used against you in the court of law. You have a right to obtain an attorney if you can't afford what one would be afforded for you by the state. And also, they're supposed to ask you, do you understand the rights that I just read to you? And you have a right to say yes or no, but it's always best to remain silent, remain calm. You make sure that if they don't have body cams on them, CPS or the police, that you record these bad actors and state actors. They are a corrupt system of government, and they are kidnapping people, children, for money from the government under Title for Emergency Assistance. When Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton was in office, they passed the Safe Adoption Family Act that had got the government involved in parental rights and children rights. And but it had already been ruled on in the Ninth Circuit Court that the government couldn't get into the welfare of parental rights and children rights, that we had a right to raise our children in our the privacy of our own homes as we see fit under the authority of parents, and they couldn't infringe upon that right of parents, but they are infringing upon that right um, in the U.S. Constitution, your parental rights, your constitutional rights, your rights to due process of law, your Fourth Amendment, your Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. So you have a right to be free from search or seizure. That goes applies to law enforcement, and it also applies to CPS. So if they don't have a signed court order from a judge, then don't talk to them. Remember, your number one remainder right is you have the right to remain silent. So do not talk to them. You have to record everything with these bad actors and these system of governments, law enforcement agents, CPS agents. You have to record everything. You got to record them, video record them, record their phone calls. You got to record everything. Okay. So they are trained liars and deceivers, and you want to be protected, and protecting your family from these corrupt system of government, i.e., the police, i.e., CPS. So bring me that Malachi, bring me that off the printer. So I have some other things that I'm going to say. I just sent my grandson to get it off the printer so I can read it to you verbatim, and that hopefully you're taking notes, because I'm a straight shooter, and I talk a lot, but I also talk fast. So I'm going to try to be as slow as I can be. Um, and we're going to talk about some things that you need to do when you encounter them. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So I just got my slides. See this? This is my logo. I stop awareness now. So it says when encountering when encountering, dealing, or speaking to law enforcement or CPS agents, bad actors of government, make no sudden moves. Remain calm. Speak with a low tone of voice. Do not holler nor raise your voice. Remain respectful. Ask for police names, CPS names, badge numbers on a business card. Never allow the police or CPS to search or seize your property without a search warrant signed by a judge. That is your person, your body, which is your person, your home, your car, without a search warrant signed from a judge. Never volunteer information. Remember, your first Miranda right is you have the right to remain silent. Only speak when spoken to. Ask, are you being detained? Ask if you've been accused of a crime. Ask if a crime has been committed. Ask what crime is that was committed or that they're accusing you of. Ask for an attorney if a crime was committed. But remember, always remember your first Miranda right, and that is the right to remain silent. State your rights as a citizen. Ask to speak to a supervisor if the police are aggressive or CPS is aggressive and they're violating your constitutional rights. Never give your information to the police if no crime was committed. That also goes for CPS. Never identify yourself to the police if no crime was committed. These are your rights that protects you, and also CPS. Usually CPS have a 30-day in 30 days to conduct an investigation. When I fought the system in one, it took almost 6 years, and I had prepaid legal. They are now called Legal Shield attorneys. And they told me that if I hadn't committed a crime, to not sign nothing with CPS or the police. So you don't want to put your signature on anything that you didn't do and anything you're not in agreement of. So a lot of times when CPS have the parent, guardian, caregiver, family, friends sign the safety plan, that is to get them to open up a case and apply for Title for emergency assistance from the government. So you want to make sure that you're not signing your name to any document, any court document, any legal document dealing with CPS or the police that you're not in agreement with. You don't put your signature on no documents. So if it's just a 30-day investigation that CPS and law enforcement is conducting, and you haven't committed a crime, you haven't abused your kids, you didn't do anything wrong, definitely don't sign anything with those entities, because that is how you further get yourself in more trouble, thinking that you're doing the right thing. And a lot of times these two entities, these bad actors, CPS and the police, they both they both um, are bad actors, and they are a corrupt system of government. So you want to make sure that they have their body cams on, but you also record, because what they do is falsify documents, twist stories, twist what you say, twist what your kids say. They record your kids too, and always remember that you don't want them recording your child without you being present. They still are minors, and so that is still your constitutional right to make sure that they are not being questioned without you being present, just like it would be if it was a criminal case, i.e. the police. and they were trying to question your minor trial without you being present, that is against the law. So you want to make sure that you're not giving up information, and you're not doing anything outside of the law, but you make sure you do stuff that was within your rights in the law. Okay, so um, so so when encountering and dealing or speaking with law enforcement or CPS, again, ask what crime that it is that they think you have committed or accused you of, and ask for an attorney if a crime was committed. State your Fourth and Fifth Amendments to the police and CPS. State your rights as a citizen. Ask to speak to a supervisor if the police or CPS is aggressive and they are violating your rights. Never give your information to the police or CPS if a crime was not committed. And if a crime was committed, you definitely still don't want to volunteer information. And remember that your first Miranda right is the right to remain silent. Never identify yourself to the police. Um, can you? Oh, I don't know who that is. Somebody is at the door. Okay, I gotta pause, y'all. I gotta go get this door. Hold on. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? I don't know. But I was on a live and I didn't want to get off the line. But okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Somebody knocked on the door. So again, remember, you have a right to remain silent. I'm going to be saying that throughout this whole video, because that is the most important information that I can give to you. That's your first Miranda right, or Miranda warning, they will call it. Okay, it says you have the right to remain silent. So remain calm, speak in a low tone of voice, make no sudden moves, ask if you're being detained, ask if you're being accused of a crime, ask for an attorney if accused of a crime, provide no information to law enforcement or CPS if no crime was committed, and even if a crime was committed, you don't want to give them no information unless you're advised to do so by an attorney. Ask if you are free to go, and always remember, remain silent. Um, Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. Okay, so you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. So that's your second Miranda right. So remember, you doing this is not doing nothing but digging you in a father hole in a ditch. So don't do this. Remain silent and state. And if you do speak, just speak your rights in the Constitution, because you don't want to self-incriminate yourself. That's also one of your constitutional rights. You want to make sure that you're protecting your rights at all costs, and that you're not self-incriminating yourself while you're interacting with these bad actors, i.e. the police, i.e. CPS. Okay, so another thing too. So you, again, remain calm, remain silent. Do not answer no questions. Ask for an attorney. Only then, if your attorney advise you, which a lot of times the attorney is not going to advise you to talk to them, because that is one of your constitutional rights, and your Miranda rights is to right to remain silent. So a lot of times they're going to say, let them talk to the law enforcement agents and CPS, the agents, the bad actors of government, and they will talk for you because you have representation now. So so basically, do not admit to a crime without an attorney, or with or without an attorney. Always, if you do go before the courts, you always want to say not guilty. That is your defense. Whether you're guilty or not, you want to say not guilty. So, um, do not sign no legal documents without an attorney being present. Um, if you're encountering law enforcement and they have detained you and arrested you, when you go to court, you can ask for a personal recognizance bond or a 10% bond. But usually, a lot of times, if this is your first offense, or even if it's not, a lot of times they will grant you a personal recognizance bond. So you can ask for those type of bonds. There's different types of bonds depending on what you're going to ask from the court. So there's different types of bonds, but um, so um, again, remain silent. Speak to law enforcement only if you're advised to do so by your attorney. Okay, you have the right to an attorney. It's one of your memorandum rights. It says ask for an attorney, ask for a court-appointed attorney, or time to hire an attorney. Ask for all charges to be given to you in writing. Remain silent unless advised to speak by your attorney. So, if you're representing yourself, pro se, the still rules apply. You don't want to give out no information. Everything that you're saying, everything that you're doing, even your behavior, can be used against you in the court of law. So these bad actors, i.e. the police, i.e. CPS, they fall under the 4th and 5th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution under a 1983 color of law. So all state officials, state agents, state police officers, state workers all fall under the color of law. All right. So if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. So ask for it. That is usually a court-appointed attorney, or you can ask to hire your own paid attorney, or ask to represent yourself pro se. Ask for all charges and documents to be given to you in writing. Do not sign no legal documents. What you doing? You just used the bathroom? Yeah. Okay, sit down. Okay. I'm in here with my nephew, my grandson. So, and then they supposed to ask you a question when they read you your Miranda rights. Do you understand the Miranda rights I have just read to you? And you have the right to answer yes or no. And this slide, wish I could put it up there, but it says make sure you completely understand all your rights the law enforcement read to you or CPS. If you do not understand your Miranda rights, ask the officer to repeat them and give them in writing. Never act like you understand when you do not understand them. If you do not understand your rights, ask for an attorney or advocate. Never give your consent for anything in dealing with law enforcement and CPS without legal representation. With these rights in mind, do you wish to speak to law enforcement or CPS? They supposed to ask you that, especially the police. These are Miranda rights that I'm reading to you that the police supposed to Miranda rights you. Remain silent. Never volunteer information. Never sign any legal documents without an attorney. Never give up your rights. Never speak to police if you committed no crime or even if you committed a crime. Never give the police your ID if no crime was committed, or never give that to CPS if they're just doing an investigation and you haven't committed no crime. Never verbally speak to the police without an attorney. Never identify yourself if no crime was committed. Never write a written statement nor a verbal statement or a written confession admitting that you had committed a crime. So your Miranda rights, you can see these is your Miranda rights. The first one, you have the right to remain silent. The second one is anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. The third one, you have a right to obtain an attorney. If you can't afford one, one will be afforded for you. Now they're supposed to ask you the question, do you understand the rights that I've just read to you? With these rights in mind, do you wish to speak to me? Those are what the police, the law enforcement, supposed to um, state to you. And if they don't, hold on, I'm looking for your. If they don't, then that can get your case throughout because they have to Mirandamize you. They can't just pull you over and accuse you of a crime and not read you your Miranda rights or the Miranda warning, as some would call it. Looking for. Okay, so this is your fourth and fifth amendment to the U.S. Constitution. The Fourth Amendment says the right of people to be secure in their person, that's your body, your house, your uh, your property, and and the effects against unreasonable search and seizure shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause supported by an oath of affirmation, particularly describing the place or thing to be searched and the person or thing to be seized. The Fifth Amendment, no person shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself or be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. These are your Fourth and Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, and you want to keep those in mind when encountering the police. I don't even know what page it is, but when encountering the police, you want to make sure you keep that in mind. Always remember that that's your First Amendment right. Also, if you was on the witness stand and you were giving an oral oath, and you're under oath, and you're on the witness stand, you can plead the Fifth, but you also can say, "I'm just going to use my right to remain silent." Not to answer or self-incriminate yourself when you're giving oral testimony. Um, so, if you or your loved ones have encountered the police, one thing that the police and CPS does is that they are bad actors, bad state officials, state agents, and they do a lot of illegal things and violate individuals' constitutional rights, and especially your right to due process of law and your civil rights. So those rights are your God-given born rights that nobody have a right to infringe upon or violate. You have universal rights. You have constitutional rights. There is the Bill of Rights. There's children's rights. So these are violated by no one. So it says connection was. I don't know if that's me. I don't know what's going on, but let me try to see if I'm okay. If I'm going on, I don't see no one. Okay, it just said I just got a notification that the connection was lost. So, um, so the next time we come on, we're gonna delve into some of those rights that you have. I just wanted to come on here and explain to you about CPS and the law enforcement agents and the history of law enforcement state officials. They were slave catchers, slave owners, And a lot of this criminal justice system, criminals don't get justice, they pay the consequences of their actions. So the name need to be changed to Justice for We the People, who hold the power over the government than the government over us. So we want to make sure that that is clear, that united we stand, divided we fall, the Constitution says. It's clear and concise language that one can understand that these rights are not to be violated by no one. Malachi, you have to turn that down. I told you I'm on the live, so turn it off. Uh, So, um, so the first page didn't print out all the way. So these pages is, like I say here, this one is you have the right to remain silent. You can see that you wanna remain calm. You want to make no sudden moves. You want to speak with a low tone of voice. Do not holler nor raise your voice. Remain respectful. Make sure you're recording because they may not have their body cams on. So you want to make sure that if you encounter the police or CPS that you are recording everything, not just something, but everything dealing with these corrupt entities. So then you want to ask them for all their names, badge numbers, supervisors' numbers, and make sure you have a pen handy. They supposed to have business cards, so even ask for one of their business cards to give to you because they supposed to have the business cards on them um, to give to constituents and citizens of society. So these bad actors um, is dismantling families all across this nation. This is going on even in third world countries, and it's going on prevalently heavily here in the United States. Each state has its own constitution, but none of them is supposed to trump the U.S. Constitution. It is the supreme law of the land. Okay, so I was talking to a client and I told her that a lot of times you have to be an exhaust. There's two Supreme Courts. There's the U.S. Supreme Court, and then there is a state, depending on, i.e., your state that you live in, whether it's Michigan, California, Texas, Missouri, New York. They all have their own Supreme Court, but the U.S. Supreme Court trumps that court. So a lot of times, if you're in the lower courts and the state courts, to properly fight the system, you have to do what they call go up the chain of command and make sure that you're exhausting all of your court remedies. You start off the lower court, then you go to the Court of Appeals. After the Court of Appeals, then the Supreme Court. Then if there's the U.S. Supreme Court, these it's all branches, judicial branches of government, but also there's federal rules and regulations. There's civil rules and regulations. There's criminal rules and regulations, and they be different depending on what branch of government that you are in, or the judicial branch. If you're in federal court, civil court, or criminal court, um, you need to make sure that you're getting all your records. Another thing too, you need to keep in mind when you're doing legal work and you're representing yourself pro se. It's always best to sign in a blue pen. The rule of thumb is to make 4 copies legally, and then um, make sure, like I say, that if you encounter these bad actors, CPS and the police, that you um, record them and take notes on everything. The time that you encountered these individuals, the place. These are things that you want to keep to memory and write down if you can while you're encountering these individuals, because they are a corrupt system of government, and they are a lot of bad actors. There is some good police officers, not all are bad. There are some good CPS workers, not all are bad, but the majority of these two entities is corruption, and the majority, to me, I feel is bad because of their history and because of the actions of law enforcement and CPS that have shown time and time again to violate one's constitutional rights, parental rights, children rights, rights to due process of law in the criminal justice system. All right. As I repeatedly said, criminals don't get justice. They pay the consequences of their actions and need to be changed to justice for we the people. So that's just my personal pet peeve that I just stated to you guys. Um, I don't know. I don't see. Um, I think Malachi, let me see that phone. Let me text Darren because I don't see him on here. I don't see nobody on here but me. Let me see. Hold on. I know I'm gonna put it back on, but hold on. I gotta tell him that I'm done. I'm not gonna stay on for